is Mercy Baez. I am a women's advocate for domestic violence and sexual abuse, and I am the founder of the Rebirth of a Woman LLC. So first it was the Rebirth of Mercy. The Rebirth of Mercy was a one-woman show, and it told my story of dealing with different traumas in life. And then it extended into becoming the Rebirth of a Woman as I started to learn what it means to use your voice and tell your story. And I came across other women and men as well who have dealt with similar traumas, and I wanted to figure out how can I help them understand how to use their voice like I used mine, because I saw how liberating and healing it was. So I just wanted to help them focus on that. So in 2015 I experienced my first domestic violence situation, and with that it was really traumatic for me because it was more of an internal damage than it was external. And I received a concussion off of the situation that happened. It was a 3-hour altercation in total of just constant slams to my head. And so that made me have a really bad concussion for 3 months straight. Pretty much had like the overlapping aftermath of what happens with a concussion. So I would instantly try to stand up and fall back down. And so I was on bed rest for 3 to 4 months. I then started to forget things. And so that taught me a great lesson in that with organization, but I had to keep a notebook beside me to write down everything so that I won't forget it. So it was really damaging for me. And so one day I was performing, and so I started off as a freestyle dancer. And so I was performing this freestyle piece, and afterward I was like, you know what, stop. And I chose to just stop in the middle of my performance, and I said, give me the mic. And then I was like, I'm tired of not talking about what happened to me, because this person really tried to take my voice from me and made sure that the dance community did not accept me anymore. And I said, no, I'm going to speak out on what happened to me, and it's not to shame the abuser, it's to speak out because this is too common amongst us all. And so when I finally did that, there was so many, pretty much everyone at the event that day. We had 3,000 people total that day. Everyone pretty much came up to me and said thank you, and they finally said, because I wasn't able to say that this happened to me, they poured out their story to me. And in that moment, that was in 2016, in that moment I realized a bit of my purpose, and that was to, at that point, because now it's different, at that point I felt as if I had to bear and carry everyone's burdens and just take it from them, because I knew I can handle it better than they can. I know that's from him. I know God gave me the gift of being able to feel, absorb people's energies and release them for them. Yeah, so my organization is a women's based movement, and we focus on empowerment, right? So we have different platforms that we provide to everyone in total. We have a domestic violence social campaign that is the most popular platform, and it was able to go to LA, to Miami, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, and now out here in Lincoln, Nebraska. And it's the first campaign in a protest form, and so I'm really excited for that, because we normally stand in high traffic locations wherever we are and stand in formation for about 2 to 3 hours to raise awareness and allow bystanders to come in and write anonymously on post-it notes and put it on their body. So it's very much similar to the Rebirth of Mercy transforming into the Rebirth of a Woman. It's the same for these survivors. This is what I took from my path. Here's a glimpse into what I did, and then you'll figure out your own way of how it works for you, for your own self-healing. Because no, we don't have the essential tools. He does. He's telling us how to do it. God is showing us how to do it, right? And so all I can do is supply the tools that worked for me and what I know and what I see works for certain other people, and hopefully you can then find your alignment within that. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. I think it's powerful because we allow people to anonymously tell their story. That's the first step of you being vocal. That's the first step of you engaging with other people and realizing how common it is. Because a lot of times you feel alone and you feel like it doesn't happen to people often, but it honestly does. You'd be surprised. I had mentioned the other day that with my studies and travels, I found there to be more men coming up to me than women. Surprisingly, people was like, wow, and yeah, you'd be really surprised, but you wouldn't know until you're out there yourself and being quiet and allowing things to happen and people to talk to you, and you just absorb what's happening around you. But being a survivor of this, I know certain things that come with abuse. I know the narcissism tactics that is being used to keep you with a self-imprisonment of no healing and no moving on and staying stagnant in life, and I don't accept that. Not for myself, so definitely not for you, not for anybody else. When women, specifically women, because I handle men differently, when women come to me with their abuse stories, and if it's happening currently right now, the first thing is like, okay, are you safe to speak right now? Can I meet you? If I make time, literally. I don't care what's happening. It could be 3 in the morning. It was one time there was someone who was ready to jump off the roof. I got my behind in a cab. I immediately was there on the roof, like, all right, let's jump. It was like, what? I was like, let's jump. It was like, you're not jumping, you have a kid. I said, you have a kid too. And so there, connecting with the person that's in front of you, showing them that I hear you, I see you. That allows them to be more open with you, and to share whatever it is that's going on, whether it's facts, emotions, whatever thought processes might be going through their head. And then I slowly take them through understanding what happened in the situation with their abuser. And then we take the proper steps. You have to stay grounded to do this kind of work. You have to know your placement. You have to know how to use that. If not, you can easily get slipped up. You can fall very easily. As I said, I'm a firm believer in God. So praying and going to Him and knowing how it could be reflected through me, how He can be reflected through my actions and my thoughts and everything that I am. That's the only thing that saves me, because I tried everything else and nothing else works. And it's no disrespect to anybody else and what they believe. I talk to all kind of people. Sometimes people mistaken you have to be a believer and only stick and talk to believers, and I'm not doing my job. I'm supposed to speak to the non-believers, more so, if anything. And so when I ground myself, yes, you have to meet God halfway and do the work that's necessary. Just praying is not going to work. Sometimes you have to really get dirty with how you're meeting Him halfway. Sometimes you have to let things go and purge yourself properly, to let go of those toxins. Realizing it and then purging is two different things. You can realize a toxin in your life through people or situations. You don't do anything about it. It's going to be a cycle. We're talking about cycles, right? Generational curses, right? And so that's really heavy, and you don't know what you're born into. No, we ain't actually born into this world, but we're here with a purpose, and we have purpose, right? Knowing that in this moment right now, I'm gonna say two things. In this moment, dealing with two pandemics, which is racism, an ongoing fight for racism, and COVID. It taught me a lot that we are the chosen generation, and we're definitely going to change the world, and we already have been changing the world. Your voice is very powerful. Know your placement, know how to use your voice, and just know that you're chosen. Know what that means to be chosen, and step in your light. That's it.
Thank you.
Learn what God is.